Welcome back to Render Time, the podcast for video editors by video editors. I'm your host, Carrie Goodison, a video editor here at MarketScale. In this episode, we're diving into the world of motion graphics, those slick intros, animated lower thirds, and eye-catching visuals that help define a brand's identity on screen. Joining me today are two incredibly talented creatives from the MarketScale team. Kiara Thomas, our creative standards supervisor, and Jair Molina, one of our video editors with a strong background in motion graphics. We're going to cover how they got into motion graphics, tips and tricks they've learned along the way, and how we approach creating branded graphics here at MarketScale, especially while keeping efficiency and client needs at the top of our mind. So real quick, starting with Kiara, let's just do a quick intro. What first drew you into motion graphics? How long have you been editing motion graphics? And how long have you been working for MarketScale?
What first drew me into motion graphics probably is just my love of tinkering with things. I like to call myself a multimedia artist because my background in college was training as a generalist. So I started off as a 3D artist and then finished out as a motion graphics artist. But my background was in illustration and fine art. So what drew me into motion graphics is just in general, watching movie trailers, music videos, seeing all the cool, special effects being done and being curious as to what industries actually, you know, pertain to that. At first I'm like, is that all just video editing? I didn't know that motion graphics was a specialized field. And so just wanting to make cool trailers initially drew me into it.
How about you, Jair?
So, motion graphics. I think the need that I had because I started working with editing, and clients pay more if you can handle motion graphics also. So I just start digging online, like how to create animation for videos, text animations, transitions, etc. So I think I started because I needed to.
Let's get into branding and workflow for our clients. When we get a new client or a new video series, what's our process for developing their branded motion graphics, like their intros, outros, or even lower thirds, transitions?
Usually, I like to go over any collateral that we may have already worked for, as far as maybe we didn't start off doing video. Some clients we started off with doing graphics, or if they come in and they have their own design briefs, I like to go over those carefully just to see what kind of vibe were they already working with, and are they interested in maybe elevating, or are they trying to maintain what they have. And then once I've done my own internal review, I usually use LinkedIn or YouTube. Wherever they post, I like to scour things. I call myself a crawler because I like to investigate what were you doing. And then after I've done that, I start going on Envato and just looking for things. If it's a client that we're just now getting into creating templates and lower thirds for them, I try to go through their brand book, or before we even had the brand books, we just would get their brand guidelines in a PDF, and we'd start to isolate out visuals and see what we could possibly translate into nice graphics and other types of motion templates. And then, like I said, I like to jump into Envato and try to quickly put something together, and then start just throwing ideas to the wall. I'm definitely I like to go forward first and then be told to okay, let's bring it back some. Let's just because you never know what they might like and decide to go with.
Jair, do you have anything to add to that?
First of all, I think I read the script so I can understand what this client wants, and I just try to look at the brand guide first, so I can just kind of know the feel of the company, what they work with, and just to understand if they are going to need a lot of motion graphics, or how I'm going to implement their brand guide and to the product that they want. So That's the first thing I do, and then I just try to also look up like what they do online. So search for YouTube videos, LinkedIn videos, so past work that maybe MarketScale has done with them, so I can understand like what is the flow and what needs to be enhanced, and maybe to just to produce like a better quality videos for them. And usually I try to create something new for each client, especially when we talk about like for the lower thirds or transitions. Usually I try to just use something new depending on what the client wants and what the how complicated the task is.
So that leads really well into my next question. At MarketScale, efficiency is key, and we try to avoid editors having to spend hours on complex graphics unless it's absolutely necessary or it's directly requested by the client. So, how do you balance that creativity with staying within our guidelines and time limits?
I definitely like to be a little bit more selective with what clients I choose to work with, depending on my time frame. Like if I have like a goal, or if I'm already working with a client where I've done something complex and I'm not sure if I'll have any sort of like tweaks, I usually try to balance what I'm already doing with what my next project is going to be. So if it's something that's a little bit more complex, I try to spend a little bit more time like researching techniques. Like even if I can't find something in Envato, I get on YouTube and I start watching tutorials to try to like even before I'll like officially grab and edit sometimes. I like, wait a second, I don't know. I've never done this before, or I'm not entirely sure how to approach this. So like let me see how other people have approached this. And then once I feel pretty confident, then I start going in and hopefully the edit hasn't been grabbed up, and I'll grab it and start working from there. But usually I start to do like my own little aggregation investigation into like what is potentially coming down the pipeline. That way I don't like select something and then I go, I don't even know how to begin to approach this.
I consider myself as a slow editor because I like to take my time thinking like especially if I like the task a lot, and I'm very selective with the tasks, honestly. I read the task and I say if I like this, and I have like an idea for what's going on with this client, with this company, then I grab the task and I just start like imagining like how is this going to flow to prioritize like time and not uh, overextend myself. I try to just draw a little storyboard for myself so I can understand what is going on with the video.
Yeah, it's always good to look at the task first because I've made the mistake of just claiming what I see in the queue, and then I'm like, wait, I've never done this before. Now I have to watch all these YouTube tutorials, and which I'll do, but yeah, it's always good to read it over first to make sure you know what you're doing. So, do you guys have a favorite go-to hack when you're working on motion graphics or some type of shortcut that you want to share?
As far as motion graphics with MarketScale, I definitely like to take advantage of the resources that we do have. One of the first things I do when I come to the office is I sit down and I start looking for inspiration. And whether like usually outside inspiration is on like Behance, and I have like my favorite After Effects YouTubers that I like to watch. But I also spend a little bit of time on Envato, just clicking on any template, music, graphic, stock. I have like my little idea folders that I just keep on hand where I go, we might have a client that wants this, we might have a client that wants that. And so sometimes like when I'm going through the queue and I know exactly what I want to do for this edit, or the client is requesting something pretty creative and I don't necessarily want to spend too much time trying to make it by hand, I start looking through my collections and try to pull from there first. And so it's sometimes like, how did you come up with that? And it's like, I saved that like 6 months ago. I never thought I'd use it, but now I have a use for it. Same thing with like tutorials. I save any and all like typography tutorials I come across, just because I never know when I might need it. And then it's like, oh yeah, I remember I have something about that. And then I just go right into it. And of course, Mr. Horse everything.
Oh, yeah. Mr. Horse and Vado are my two best friends. How about you, Jair?
I was able to buy Mr. Horse text animation and when it was available to buy, because right now I think they are with subscriptions. It's my first tool to craft something really fast for any kind of text animation that I need is really handy, honestly. I try to save like my folders with some renders that I have so I can just swap things and change colors really fast. And I like also to build my own animations and just save them to use on Premiere.
So, when working with motion graphics, I know some of the files can be pretty hefty and the projects they can lag a little bit. So, do you guys have any specific settings or system setups that you use to keep Premiere or After Effects running smoothly when you're working with those motion graphics?
I have a pretty high-end computer because initially I used to do 3D. So it's got like 2 graphics cards in it, so it's pretty powerful. One, always have a nice powerful machine. I also before when I'm in like After Effects, I always clear the cache, like purge the memory and cache because sometimes I open it up and it's like it's storing like 96 or higher gigabytes worth of information. And it's like, well, let's try to get that out of there. I've had issues with like Mogerts in the past. So sometimes if I know I'm only going to use a Mogert once, I'll take it out of my essentials tab. I don't know if that helps that much, but I feel like I've experienced less lag. Like when you click into it, like they'll be trying to load all of them. And I try to remove those as much as possible. But like, yeah, definitely clearing out my memory as much as possible. Also, I edit, especially like in After Effects. Once I've gotten my like specific animation done to where it's pixel perfect, I start editing at the lowest resolution. Usually I stay in 1/4. I only look at it in full resolution for specific timing reasons or just to make sure I'm lining things up properly. And then after I know that it's lined up, it goes right back into quarter. I don't leave motion blur. It's like a motion blur tab. Like once, if it looks good, turn it off until it's time to render.
I also like to do pre-comps so the memory doesn't feel like too much, and I just try to hide some layers when I'm working with specific things, so it doesn't like fool my cache. So I try to also keep it like below 100, and when it's just to clean it like constantly to avoid any crash.
Yeah, I know, especially with those templates from Envato opening up in After Effects, sometimes there's these layers that mostly are just unnecessary, and I always try to turn those off because they can really bog down the project.
True. Or like multiple comps, and it's like I only need that one. So it's like just delete out anything, and then hopefully it doesn't like break something.
So, overall, what are some of your best practices that you follow to create motion graphics efficiently from start to finish at MarketScale?
I think just in general, having a clear goal and understanding of not only what the edit request is, but of the audience that you're doing the edit request for. I know we have a lot of UGC now, so sometimes clients they're used to their jobs and their roles, and so sometimes they might give a note that it makes sense to them, but to an editor who's just now picking it up, they might not understand the vibe that the requester or the company that they work for. So just kind of like understanding not only the notes, but like coinciding it with the actual audience that is intended to go out to, as far as making sure that you're actually representing the company that you're doing this video for. And then once you kind of get that down, like start to get your references and any sort of inspiration so that you can like set the tone, get a style going. We don't really do storyboards here as much anymore. I used to do storyboards all the time, but like Jair said, like if you need to jot down like a little storyboard just to be able to plan out like your animations and all that stuff, just get comfortable with typography. Like I'm will admit, like, as a motion graphics person, I don't really care for typography all that much. I got bad handwriting, but, typography is, like it's pretty tedious, but it can actually, like, really make or break a project. Like, you don't have to focus so much on graphics or so much on, making like the most sparkly thing ever if strong typography can carry that as well.
Best practices for me is like I try to understand um, what is the purpose of this video, and usually I like to ask clients like where are they going to post the videos, because depending on the platform that they're going to post, it is like really different, the kind of audience that you have. And sometimes for example, for reels and TikTok videos, it is not like necessary. I just try to just make something really simple. Sometimes just fade in, fade out is enough for text. When it comes to LinkedIn and web page videos, then I just try to enhance the quality, even though they maybe record something with their cell phones, and it must be like really high end quality, because their clients are gonna visit the web page. They can like, oh, this company actually knows what they do. They use like I can see the brand here, I can see what the tone is, so depending on that, I just try to say, okay, this video needs a lot of work, or this is something simple, row cuts and some fade-ins, transitions, and that's it. And that's the one thing I usually do. Another thing is just to understand like what parts of the videos are going to need like more work with. Maybe they're going to need some information showing at the same time that the person is talking. Or okay, so what is this video going to look like? Do they have like an intro, an outro, or something like that? If they don't have it, I usually just start crafting the logo animations too, because sometimes clients, they don't take care a lot of like how they represent their logos and stuff. And sometimes if you do that for them, they see like, oh, I didn't know that I need this, but I mean, it looks better in this way. And it's something that happened recently with a video, and the client was really happy. I think it was Fluke company, and that I just craft some short animations for their logo. So that kind of things, it's important for me, because I think like clients gonna appreciate that. So if you can help them to enhance their brand book also, that's something that is gonna be good for the company, and also good for MarketScale too. Yeah.
Thank you so much to Kira and Jair for sharing their insights today. Motion graphics can add so much polish and personality to a video, but it's important, especially here at MarketScale, to know when they're worth the time and when you're supposed to keep things simple. If you're a video editor tuning in, we hope this episode gave you some useful tips and a better understanding of how to approach motion graphics in a smart and efficient way. Thank you for watching, and happy editing.